Hello collective, and welcome to this timeless reading. I'm really excited to do this series of readings because it's going to be the easiest thing for me to get out while I'm doing my master's program. So I'll get back into looking into the sun, moon, and rising signs and all of those things in about 3 weeks. So around May 18th is when I'm finally done with my classes, and then we can go back into reading for the signs. Remember, this is a general reading and will not resonate with every single person, but this is a timeless reading, so it doesn't matter when you're brought to the reading, especially if you're brought here by the title of the channel, then this is definitely for you. If it doesn't resonate with you, you can just stick around because there may be something in it you need to hear. If you're wanting to know about the retrograde energy reading that I just did, it's on the screen above, and I always have suggested videos at the end. So let's get into this video real quick. So basically on this card, the swords and the boat are represented by your past pain that is carried with you. The card reassures us that the better times are ahead and indicates a quietly transformative journey. So we're going to dive into this. And the things that we're going to look at: what am I holding on to that must be released? What walks among us? What watches or who watches over me? What does my house of spirits want for me? So that could be your ancestors. What makes me feel crazy? What do I discover among the madness? And what creativity lies in this darkness? So there you go. So I'm gonna, and we'll also kind of look at what other cards we can get from that too. So I'm gonna do just a basic spread, and then we'll pull some other things based on what we see. All right, so let's get started. There's gonna be 7 cards to this. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Overall energy. Okay. So the overall energy of this reading is the Queen of Swords upside down, coupled with the 10 of Cups, coupled with the 5 of Wands upside down. She is overly emotional. There is no gender to the cards. We're just going to talk about what this is saying. She's overly emotional. She's easily influenced, and she can be very cold-hearted. Coupled with the 10 of Cups is someone who's searching for inner happiness. They want their dreams to come true, and they really want them to be fulfilled. Right alongside of that, which is someone who may be avoiding conflicts, but they can respect differences. They're just trying to avoid some things in their life. So this is kind of like overall energy of the reading that we're going to be finding out in just a second. So let's go ahead and move on. So the first question is the ghosts in our life, the hidden things, the things that we can't see. So what am I holding on to that must be released? What is my ghost? Okay. And that is the 9 of Wands upside down. So the biggest thing that you're holding on to is unsure motives, maybe not knowing exactly where you're going, maybe not knowing exactly what it is that you want, being exhausted with life, having a lot of fatigue around just experiencing this journey. The journey can be great, it can be beautiful, but it also is exhausting. It's tiring to have things going on all the time, especially people who feel like they've been hit with all kinds of issues. Okay, I'm going to clarify this a little bit. Clarifying the 9 of Wands, that exhaustion, fatigue, and unsure motives. Let's take a look at that. What else can you tell us about what we're holding on to that must be released? So I guess if I'm hearing that and I'm looking at that, one of the things I would think about is to be more strategic about the things that I want. Know the end goal. Like, what are you shooting for? Are you shooting for a specific lover? Are you shooting for a specific job, a career? So for instance, for me, I'm doing my master's, and so many times I want to quit. I mean, I really do. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just totally want to quit this. Like, why am I even punishing myself like this? That's how I feel, right? But and I told my husband that if I didn't see the end goal, I would have quit a long time ago. And that's the starting with the why. Why are you doing what you're doing? You have to know what it is the reason that you're doing what you're doing. Okay, so I'm asking about what is the motive. The motive is this unexpected or this sudden truth that needs to come out. having a strong sense of yourself so that you can have this partnership that you're looking for. There's been some secrets, secrets within yourself, some disconnection within yourself, secrets from your intuition, withdrawing in silence. Those types of things are not helpful. That's what's causing the issue. So the things that need to be released is release whatever you can so that you can tell the truth to whoever you need to tell the truth to. If you've been hiding your loved ones from someone, you need to be able to open up and tell that person, hey, you mean a lot to me, and have the courage to do that, because what life is worth living if you don't have the love that you really want in your life? If you don't really have if you haven't never gone for the career that you really wanted, or that position, or opening up a shop, or whatever it is that you want to do, if you've never done it because you've just kept this secret to yourself, that maybe you feel like you're not good enough, or there's some reason. So let's move on to this reading and see what else we can find out. Okay, so the next part is what walks among us, like the undead, like the things that we can't see. What is among us that we're not seeing? And that is, there is a gift from God. So you're not seeing, you're apathetic. So we have a Four of Cups, which is, well, they're just showing me that, yes, we are disconnected. We're not seeing. God's giving gifts all the time, and yet we're not open to them. We're not seeing them. I mean, how many times have you known a friend or someone, just an acquaintance even, that you can see that they're getting a gift in their life, and that person's still like not seeing it, or complaining about it, or just not accepting that gift is there. For whatever reason, they are struggling with their belief system, so they can't see the gift. Okay, so yeah. So the reason why we're not seeing the gift is because there's too much self-protection over our belief systems, too much self-protection over the things that we have held on to for our whole life. That's holding us back from the Queen of Pentacles, which is the affection we want, the wisdom we're trying to gain, the financial abundance that we really want. It's holding us back from our self-care, from seeing that life is reliable. And those are creating indecision, confusion, and information overload. So that's really interesting. It's like the gift is already there. And when you're not looking at it, then you're just kind of overloading yourself with all this other stuff. Okay, let's move on. Number 3. Who watches over me? You have an Ace of Pentacles. The one, the only, God watches over you. That's what that is. And so they were showing me a second ago as I thought about this card, and I don't know what this card means, but they were saying that we're talking about a who, and this is talking about financial abundance. So what is the most abundant thing in the world would be God. So God is watching over you. But not only that, but it's like the beginning of time. I know that sounds really strange, but it's like everything since the beginning of time is watching over this lifetime with you. Like your lifetime for you seems like it's just this small smidgen of nothing, and here I'm just living a lifetime, but that's not really what it is. It's like there's a lot of things that are depending on you, and depending on how broad your perspective is and how big your awareness is, on whether or not you believe that there are other beings out there in the world, extraterrestrials, whatever. If you listen to Dolores Cannon, which I'm really into Dolores Cannon, she's pretty amazing. If you don't know who she is, you need to look her up. She's pretty awesome. But she does a lot of hypnotherapy, and she will hypnotize people so deeply that they would actually, their higher selves would come out. She would be able to speak to like Nostradamus, and she could speak to all these things, even extraterrestrials, through just through the channel of the person who is under hypnosis. It's pretty flippin' cool. So one of the things she said is that we will never be able to nuke each other, and that's why I don't really watch the news. We're like, oh, they're getting these bombs and they're gonna nuke, and it's never gonna happen. And the reason why I say that is because she found through her own extensive studies with people by putting them under and then listening to multiple extras. So we're talking about this is like going crazy. So if this is way above your pay grade, then take it or leave it. But I think it's very fascinating. So she'll talk to like Octarians and like Palladians and all these other beings. And they said that our world, like the other parts of the universe, are so dependent on Earth that if we were to nuke each other and blow each other to smithereens, it would do so much damage to everybody else and pretty much be the end of everything. So because it is such a big deal, these things that people have been seeing in the sky lately, if you haven't been watching YouTube and watching some really cool things that people have been showing us, they've been seeing things in the sky lately, and those things are there because there are benefactors making sure, and they're really they're not allowed to intervene in our free will, but they are allowed to intervene if it's going to mess up the entire like ecosystem, right? So they're saying that if that were to happen, they're going to that's not going to happen. And there's just too many benefactors there that are watching over to make sure that this doesn't go too far, okay? So that goes like way out into the existence, but they're basically saying, like when I went through QHHT and I was hypnotized myself, I had asked, hey, where am I from? You know what I mean? Like, who am I? I was thinking they were going to say like, oh, you're Pleiadian, you're Octarian, you're, I don't know, all these other ones that there are out there. You know, some people are Atlantean, you know, some people are Lumerian, all this crazy stuff. I was like, oh, I wonder what they're going to say I am, you know? And she said, my higher self said through the QHHT that I was from the beginning of time. Like, that's how old my soul is. It's like from the beginning of time. Like, I guess I was a guide for Atlanteans, right? Or something like that. That's what she had said. That's what another medium had told me. So it doesn't matter. It's all cool stuff. I like enjoy it. It's like really fun to find that stuff. If you haven't ever done anything like that, you should, because it's kind of cool to be like, what are they going to say? You know, what are they going to say about me? And so that's what it is. Like who watches over you is everything that ever meant anything to you from the beginning of time, always. So your soul group watches over you. God watches over you. The universe watches over you. Your loved ones in spirit are watching over you. Anybody that you have loved in this lifetime that is no longer here is watching over you. All of those things. That was pretty crazy. So anyway, I talk about some wild stuff sometimes because I think just having a broader perspective is kind of fun. Okay. All right. Like I was thinking about a show a second ago and I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called, it's on Gaia and it's called like Conversations with Extraterrestrial or something like that. Maybe I'll put a link to it because it's kind of really neat. So you should check that out if you're interested in stuff like that. I am. I think it's pretty neat. Okay. So the next question is, what does my house of spirits want from me? What do your ancestors want from you? They want you to stop pretending. They want you to come out of your shell. They want you to really like experience this world and this life. So for instance, I've been getting a lot of intuition lately since I've learned about my past, and I went through like the whole family tree, and I started to learn about my ancestors and how they came over to America with nothing, and it's just really interesting because I felt like sometimes I feel like how proud they must be of me as they see me so different than they were. Like the dream that they had coming to America was who I am today, that I can only imagine that they're clapping their hands. You know, like I'm pretty sure my ancestors were stowaways on the ships coming over to America because they were Italian and they probably didn't have very much money and stuff like that. And then not only that, but the other side of me is people who are running away from religious persecution and all of that stuff. So, you know, just to be able to have the freedoms that I have today and to have the abundance that I have today, I can just imagine that they're just like clapping their hands like, good, you go girl, good for you. So that's basically what they want. They want you to uncover your truth. You know, they want you to stop being insecure. You don't need to be jealous because they have you. God has you. There's no reason for jealousy. And they want you to set aside your anger. And they want you to be more selfish with your love. Selfish with your self-love. They want you to love yourself more. Be more selfish. If something doesn't resonate with you anymore in your life, don't stay with it. Say, this isn't really resonating with me. This isn't really my truth. Okay, well, you move on because that's being true to yourself. They just want you to be more true to who you are. When we're talking about insanity is the next card, and that's what makes me feel crazy. So we have the Knight of Pentacles, and he's upside down. So let's talk about your crazy. You ready? You're cray-cray. Your Knight of Pentacles is perfectionism, OCD, boredom, feeling stuck. That makes you feel crazy. And not being self-disciplined enough to do your inner work, to love yourself, to put yourself first, those types of things. That makes you really crazy when you feel like everybody else is getting what they want and you don't, and then you're the one making it happen for everybody, but you're not taking care of yourself. That'll make you crazy, like Amber Heard crazy. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing. I don't know. I'm not really watching that, but I just thought, throw that out there. Okay. The madness. Let's talk about the madness. So, what do I discover amidst the amongst the madness? Amidst the madness. There you go. Is the truth. Every time madness comes, you're able to see through the BS and you're able to break through and see this. And every time the madness comes, you have success and you grow and you become new and you become better. You have new ideas and you have mental clarity and all of those things. Every time there is madness, that's what you discover. You discover more about yourself. You discover more about the world. You become higher, like leveled up and higher, just higher with your wisdom and what you know. Okay? And let's talk about your darkness. Okay, what creativity lies in the darkness? And we have the Fool upside down. We're going to pull more on this card because I only have a little bit, okay? But I think that the creativity that lies in the darkness is, well, it's the new beginnings, it's your innocence, it's your spontaneity and your free spirit. And the darkness, that heaviness, actually holds you back and makes you feel reckless. It makes you feel like, not taking risks. So let's dive into that a little bit more. I want to talk about the darkness. What do you guys want to do? You want to talk about the darkness? No? All right, let's pull some cards on the darkness. And then we're going to pull some cards based on this reading. I just want to know a little bit more. And then we'll close out this reading. All right. If you like this reading or entertained in some way, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, okay? All right, so pulling on the darkness. Well, we got the sun. So it basically says that when the darkness is not balanced with the light, when we lose our emotional control, all that does is trap us. So if we're wanting a new beginning, but we're too emotional about it, we're not able to handle our emotions, and we're kind of imbalanced in our life, we're imbalanced everywhere, it causes a trapped feeling. Breaking through the trapped feeling is really important, and once you do that, then you get your happiness. And then so it's just all about understanding the emotions, understanding how that traps us from not taking our new beginnings, okay? Because our new beginnings are full of this happiness. And sometimes it's like a self-sabotage where we hold ourselves back from the happiness because maybe we just never really were allowed to be happy. Maybe you were, in my case, my mom never wanted me to be happy. So every time I would get a smidgen of happiness, I would be like, oh, that's not for me. I'm not supposed to be happy. Because she would always talk about, oh, you're so happy, go lucky, you're in the clouds, blah, blah, blah. And she always made fun of me for that. So it was like, oh my gosh, I'm not supposed to be happy. So every time I was happy, I'd feel depression. It's so weird. Okay, I want to know a little bit more about this reading. What can you give us? I want to use these two sets of cards that are kind of cool and just get some information about what we're talking about today and how maybe I can give you a little bit more guidance before we close out. So this whole series is going to be labeled Timeless, and we will talk about just multiple things. And if I can get these to be short videos, then I can get more out. And that would be cool. Okay. So they want to caution us on okay, so they're saying that being afraid of vulnerability is what's creating an imbalance. So somebody's afraid to be vulnerable or have been vulnerable in the past, and it has created bad experiences for them because we were in a different energy. And so like, let's take like 30 years ago, for those of you guys who are that old, 30 years ago, to be vulnerable, I mean, that was a bad thing. So for instance, when I was in middle school, I remember, you know, having to be hard, like, oh, we're hard, you know, my friends, the guys were always part of gangs, and, you know, they're hard and we're hard, and and I remember like they used to have these lifesavers that came in this like roll, and we used to eat all the lifesavers and then put pennies in them, and I used to hold them in my pocket, and like I was gonna get in a fight or something, I'm like, yep, that's just in case I get in a fight, I'm gonna put it in my fist because I'm hard, right? So I laugh about it now, but to be vulnerable back then was not okay. Like, you weren't allowed to show any vulnerability, male or female, it didn't matter. Because if you were vulnerable, you were going to be a target of bullying, right? A target of abuse, a target of that person, somebody's going to fight you, you know what I mean? And then not only that, but in our families, you know, the vulnerability was a bad thing because, you know, parents were trying to toughen us up. You know, the world is tough. You know, that could be one thing. Or maybe our parents didn't show vulnerability, or every time we showed vulnerability, we had a really bad experience. So they're saying that's old energy. It's not the energy of the planet today. Please don't get stuck into that, because that not being vulnerable is actually what is holding you in balance. It's imbalancing your state of mind. And when we're feeling imbalanced, some of the quickest ways for us to get a dopamine rush and feel good about ourselves is to go right into our addictions. And so that's the next card. So they're just cautioning us on being able to flex our vulnerability, being able to try it out on people that we feel safe with, find people that you can feel safe with, and you know. And then that will balance out your life, and then you won't have to rely on your addictions anymore, because you're going to get what you need. You're fulfilling your own dopamine. You're fulfilling your own state of happiness. Okay, the next one I want to do, I got this really cool set of cards in, and I got it from one of my friends too, and I was like, oh my gosh, because I was thinking about what can I get her, because she's going through surgery, and I bought her like a French press, and then I bought her some cards, and I was like, oh, those are some cool cards. So I got me some too. Okay, so I just want to see, and they're called high vibe cards. Okay. All right, let's see what can we get. Ooh, of course. All right, so 3 things are the advice. The first one is smiles. Smile at someone, look them in the eyes, and see an amazing creation. Miracles are everywhere in the form of you and every person that you meet. Well, miracles are everywhere. Those people are like, well, miracles don't happen. What earth are you living in? All right. Released. When you are upset or frustrated, holding on to the negative emotion lowers your vibration. To release it, journal about your feelings, talk to a friend, or confront the problem. After you release the emotion, your vibration will be elevated. If you keep going back to the problem in your mind, you will keep lowering your vibration. Focus on what is going right instead, and remember, a release of emotion is not a low vibration. It is just a different vibration. Ooh, that was a good one. I like that. And the last one is rock the mantra. How are you feeling right now? Repeat the words, I rock, 20 times with conviction. Ready? Okay, I have to count. Ready? I rock, 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 I rock. Boom, 20 times. Notice the energetic change. All right, hopefully you did that with me. If not, rewind, do it with me. All right. So that's all I have. Thanks for watching. If you like this video or entertained in some way, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and check out the screen for a video that you can watch next. Have a great day. Bye.